Hi, thank you very much. I like the motto of the event, too long didn't read very much, and the promise of the opposite, to go deeper, to make long reads. Hopefully my contribution will add to it today. I should say that in general I pay a lot of attention in my work to this acronym and all the messages that tell you how long the read will be. You know, all this 5 minutes read, 9 minutes read, really, that you can see on Medium or elsewhere. Not so much because they're practical, they are not, but because I'm interested in a way platforms and IT industry in general are orchestrating the time for their users, making decisions about time, big and small ones. In 1999, in the interview for the World Wide Web journal, Tim Berners-Lee, the inventor of the World Wide Web, answered his own question. What is a web year now? About 3 months? We will be able to live for 300 or 400 web years, which will be very exciting. I started to work online in 1995 and never stopped, so according to Tim Berners-Lee, to his calculations, I lived through almost a web century already. And I should say, it certainly feels so. I could also state now that I lived through almost 2 internet centuries, because there was another catchphrase in the late 90s, that an internet year is equivalent to 7 calendar years. No one knows to whom to attribute this phrase, but let's give credit to Jim Clark, co-founder of Netscape, who popularized it on the pages of Netscape Time book. Probably at a certain point internet was mixed up with the dog, or there were really no better analogy, but since then everybody repeats and repeats it. But curiously, Tim Berners-Lee calculation that internet year is 3 months is not just exaggeration, but refers to what was called, promoted as Netscape time at that time. The intention to release a new version of the browser every 3 months. Jim Clark, it's very small, but I will read it to you. Jim Clark paraphrased words of Charles Dickens in the very end of his book. He said it was the best of times, it was the fastest of times, meaning 1994, 1996. And we know it's from Charles Dickens, his description of French Revolution, that it was the best of times and it was the worst of times. Netscape time, or internet time, or as I would also say, Wired magazine time, was not only about the pace, but about next development killing the previous one. And it was very tough to deal with it at that time. Killer apps, revolutionarism, apocalypse. It was the fastest of times, the craziest one. There was no present. You know, in 1996 there was only future, and a very uncertain one. And again, it was not only about the changes, but the idea of what time was manipulated at that time. Chronological order, clear chronological order was dismissed. And I will come to it in the end. But back to 1995. The web, we happen to refer now as the Web 1.0, amateur web, the under construction period, and here you can see the very loud under construction sign. Or maybe you remember some of these graphics, under construction graphics, and they later became the symbol of this period Here is another one for you in Portuguese. This one in Chinese, very expressive one, because webmaster put this sign of animated image in the background. So it's a static screenshot here, but believe me, it's blinking and you feel like it's really a lot of intense work happening. These particular pages have never happened. They are announcements, they are promises. Let me show to you some less spectacular, graphical, but more articulated one. This page will be right here, just you wait. Here. Be patient, I'm working on it. I'm looking for a color scanner. If you know any shop or do you want to sell one, please email me. So you need, it was not that easy to make a web page. Welcome to my page. Hi everyone and welcome to my page. I am right now just trying to get used to HTML comments and stuff. You had to learn HTML. You were looking for a friend who can maybe help you. I'll be working on the page at the near future, but I have school to contend with, so it will take a while. So there's school, there are teachers, there are a lot of things that were on the way. So in other words, people were desperately asking for time to make their pages. This particular page is also a title of my collection, which is called Give Me Time. And it's a collection of pages where people are full of hope and are very positive. As we know, many succeeded to build their home pages. They were not just pages, rather universes, the worlds. It could be world, it could be layer, realm, corner of the cyberspace. Another one. As we all know, this web is dead. Ridiculed, it was replaced or just technically killed, as it's the case with Yahoo closing GeoCities 10 years ago. And yeah, all the screenshots I showed to you, they come from 1 terabyte of kilobyte H archive. You can, in the end, there will be a link and you can repeat my journey if you like. So Web 1.0 was replaced by Web 2.0. Home pages were replaced by blogs, web links by social networks, links by tagging, and the role of webmaster, web user changed dramatically. You are not building the world anymore. You are feeding it. And whatever great you think your Instagram account looks, it's more sad than the most amateurish looking and incomplete web page. And you are not before you were building a page for your dog. And today you're more and more often just reposting or liking or sharing pictures of somebody else's cat. To make it short, building a web page was building the web, and it was and it still is a noble role. The statement I can elaborate on for ages and illustrate. I also have, believe me, enough illustration for this. So, but it is wrong to say that web started in 1995 and finished, let's say, in 1999. Because like on these two screenshots, both from 1998, you can see that somebody was just starting to make a web page, and for somebody else it was completely over already. Both are from December 1998. Maybe, and someone is going to start, or were going to start in 2003 only, and there were people who were fed up already in 1996. Maybe there is somebody now in the audience who is still planning to make a web page, I hope, right now, in May 2019. But of course, closer and closer to our time, less webmasters' enthusiasm, more pessimism, and decision to stop making a web page. Sorry, this page is no more. closed for identified time for indefined reason. This page has been closed down due to some reasons. Sorry for the inconvenience. And there were many reasons. For example, you are angry about the provider. Or you are not a fan, you are not Backstreet Boys fan anymore. You know, could happen. Or, if you would read here, you still are a Backstreet Boys fan, but you don't find time for your fandom. I'm sorry, but this page has been closed down. I still love Backstreet Boys, but I just don't have the time to update. I'm sorry, I'm no longer updating this website. There's really little time for me. Not only Backstreet Boys fans, of course, also Dragon Ball fans had problems. And people who were creating pages for TV series. Everybody saying that they don't have time. At GeoCities Research Institute, we have a list at this moment of 860 pages that are no more, pages that were abandoned by the users themselves. A year ago, when we still had 600, we put all of them together in one table and to analyze them and to find what exactly were the reasons. Was it school? Was it computer got broken? Was it, and if it was no time, why exactly there was no time to continue with the web page? Why the pages died? And then I saw my colleague, Mona Ulrich, put a keyword natural death next to some pages. To my surprise, what kind of natural we are talking here about? She answered, someone decided to close because they didn't update it. So for her, it was a natural death. As if being updated is not an obvious and natural life of the web page. Well, the books that you can see now from our GeoCities Research Library, they would agree. The authors of that books in 96, 97, you know, they did not know with what exactly and how often exactly to update the web page. But they were shouting, update as time and money permit. Or like, there is a news is the most important thing in the world. Put it, don't make a news section. Put it on the home page and very loud. And Yahoo in 2000, by the way, started to send messages to GeoCities users saying, update or your account will be suspended. And people did take this very serious. They did update loud and as often as possible. And it appeared to be quite a journey and quite a job, an occupation, you can say. For me, as a researcher who look at dozens of old sites a day, they are a generation, which is not really possible to pin to exact time frame or to the age of the website. And it has also nothing to do with age of people who made them, of course. But it is a generation of websites that lived, that had relations with their webmasters. Oops. Something happened here. We don't have internet. But I have it also on my USB stick. Yeah. So it's a generation of dead sites that lived, that had relations with their webmasters. It's mine, yeah. Yeah. I'm very sorry. But it's a live, it's not a presentation, it's a web page. This is how it should happen. Yeah, there are some examples. So let me please repeat that this is a generation of websites that have relations with their webmasters. They tell the story of people looking for right mechanisms to stay visible. Interesting on one side, and on another side, to keep in pace with software development, with new versions of browsers, new features, old features that were announced bugs suddenly, finding the ways to balance your IRL and cyber life, experimenting and developing the ways to keep a network hypermedia objects alive and functioning. It's maybe quite a phrase, but think about that you had to think about how to keep all the links functioning. And all this made usually by the same person. Updating was a lot of work and many different jobs, one can say. Updating the site is not the same as updating your timeline or updating my portfolio today. Not only the effort and available tools, but the scope of tasks, the meaning of this action. This is quite a modest page, maybe what you can see here, but I put it because of the phrase, "Hey all, I have updated the website and I have changed it a little." You know, so you update not only with the content, but you change the website itself when you update it. And the next one, it is from the bottom of the page, so that's why it is without the browser. But that somebody is documenting every update, and again, it's not just the content, not just the images, but for example, replaced links with buttons, trying for a better look. No? Adding drop-down automatic menu bar. So all these things that you are taking care about about your world, your universe, your home online. And of course, it was like an immense work. And of course, people got tired. This page last updated in 2003. And in general, it does not have a long life. It started in 2000. And you see, it started very optimistically. Updates will be on Fridays. If not Fridays, then the closest able day. And then before it was closed, updated the boring page and the me page. I'm bored, I'm tired, and I'm leaving. So people were leaving. Some, were looking, for example, for a webmaster to take over the web page. Or as you can see here, leaving their web page unattended for a very long time, 2.5 years, 3 years would be what you see here. So people didn't have time and they were leaving, they could not update. There was no tool developed for updating whole pages. On contrary, industry made it more and more difficult for webmasters to update their websites, for example, by removing FTP accesses where it was possible. In parallel, content management systems matured, transformed into social networks, and later into such monsters and as Instagram, which offered to you to have your life and all the webmastery will happen by itself. Web users gave up their chance to build a cyberspace. We could not find time to update our home pages. We were not able to keep pace with the developers, with new scripts and new standards, with complexity that was artificially exposed on us. Even the most passionate and patient had to give up because it was too complex. For example, source code became unreadable or didn't make sense. Your links became outdated, your scripts are not supported by next version, and so on. Your style is maybe not new enough. Time you had to make and renovate your corner of cyberspace was getting longer, while recognition for that type of activity was getting only less and less. We move to templates, platforms, timelines. We show off in front of each other with pictures, proving how much we achieved IRL, how much time we've got. We letter each other with, where did you get time to make all this? Yeah, you know where. You stopped updating your website. And we got tools mobile instant posting tools, filters, emojis, voice input, all these are time amplifiers. It looks like everybody has 3 lives, or at least 72 hours a day now. And it seems this is how we are going to spend these 300 or 400 web years that Tim Berners-Lee was talking about 20 years ago. We will generate content and upload it to the website of one particular company. There is this virtual time and even abundance of it. Yeah, cruel Netscape time has been substituted by generous Instagram time. There is something very important at stake, though. Something what we social network users should focus on immediately. I mean, even those who are staying there in social networks. It is algorithmic timeline. We need to fight for the chronological order, convention that is universal and neutral. You can rely on it, like you can rely on alphabetical order, like systems of coordinates, like a gravity. There is no chronological order in anything we generate and consume in the environments that are ironically, or rather sadistically, are called timelines. They're algorithmic timeline, but they don't have anything to do with time at all. And the consequences of being in such algorithmic environments, they're apart from understandable fear and danger, are that these algorithmic timelines, these networks, they are time pyramids, like financial pyramids. They are also bubbles, and these bubbles will burst with all your hours and all your life that you invested into them. So, what can I say? Please update your website, if you still have a website, and link to someone who has one too. Thank you very much. And if you want to see hundreds, thousands of screenshots like this, what is now on the page, you can follow this link. And we are online. And at this moment, you would see a page that, for example, was last updated on 22nd of December 2002. And yeah, there's every 20 minutes a new one. Do you want to ask me something to contradict?
Wait, there's a microphone. It's not even worth to. I just wanted to ask how the website is called, because the link wasn't really seeable from here.
This is 1 terabyte of kilobyte age, because this one is called 1 terabyte of kilobyte age, and it is on Tumblr, and also here you can. Oh yeah, it's very. I see what you mean. But if you look for 1 terabyte of kilobyte age, or if you look for my name, it will be the first link you will get. No webmasters in audience. Then thank you. Thank you very much.
We